It's Tuesday night. We're back for one more show of the neighborhood news. If it's not a Tuesday, remember you're watching a repeat show. So please come back next Tuesday at 7 o'clock here at Channel 95, and we will have a brand new show for you. For our Portuguese listeners, sejam bem-vindos para mais programa de notícias da sua vizinhança. Hoje é terça-feira, 7 da noite. E aqui no canal 95 nós estamos de volta com mais programa de notícias da sua vizinhança. Se está a ver-nos e não é terça-feira, porque está a ver programa que está a ser repetido e, portanto, nós temos novo programa para si na próxima terça-feira. Já em breve, talvez para a semana, nós vamos começar o nosso novo programa chamado Amigos, aqui também no canal 95. Programa este que vai ser todo transmitido em língua portuguesa, só pensando em si. Fique conosco. And we back, Bernadette, my assistant here, co-host, assistant on the association. She's my chief of staff, so she, I have
You're
a chief
lucky,
of staff
Carlos.
too.
Very lucky.
So with us we have Joshua Silvia. Silva.
There's a difference.
It's a name, exactly. It's a familiar face for the past 2 years because he's been very involved in our community, and he did run for city council. He didn't make it last time, but he probably will have a good chance to make it next time. So.
Don't shut it down, Josh. Yeah, don't shut it down. Keep going, buddy.
You need to come back. And pretty much the reason I invite Joshua today is because he didn't make it to city council. So he probably we want to see if you changed any of your ideas when you're running for office, or if you still maintain your ideas and your beliefs all this time after. So.
No, I'm very passionate, as you all know, about a lot of issues, and even with people over the last couple of years that I've had disagreements with, I respect everybody's opinions in Fall River, because that's what makes Fall River so great, is everybody is so passionate, whether you agree, disagree, or whatever.
Right.
But I think that's the great thing about the city. But as far as my views, I mean, everything I said during the campaign is basically how I live. I'm not going to change how I feel. I'm going to tell you what I think all the time, and I always try to be upfront with everybody on whatever the issue is. So, I've been watching the meetings. Obviously, I've gone to meetings, and you can see the politics. It's all there, the same stuff that we all talked about and that we all want to change, and we all wish that it didn't always happen that way. And it kind of holds progress back a lot. And for me, we'll see if I run again. A lot of people ask me if I'm going to run again. It's a lot of work.
Sure
I do run a business. I work, constantly. So I went away for a week. My phone rang every day.
Oh,
Someone needed something.
Right.
But that's, the nature of my business. I'm a contractor, so work for myself. But as far as running for council, it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of dedication. But I always thought I could do the job, because I think people have a perception of what a city councilor does, and then I think the councilors themselves have a perception of what they do, and I think there's a lot of confusion there. So I always thought that the most important thing the councilor could ever do for you is just represent the people at the meetings. And there's some councilors that are there right now that I do think are doing a really good job, and I was a little surprised, to be honest with you. I think Cliff Pont's been doing a really good job. I talk to him a lot. I message him after the meetings, tell him he's doing a good job. I think Council Long's had some nice, points in meetings and stuff. So, but other than that, I think there's still a lot of the same political.
So if you had to vote today for the city councils, you will maintain your votes? Whoever you vote for, you maintain your votes?
Yeah, I would probably.
Or you would change?
I would probably vote. I'd add Cliff to I'd vote for Cliff. I would. But other than that, I voted for Trot, Joseph Lee, I voted for Jordan Sylvia, and I voted for Scott Donnelly. And I would still vote for them every day of the week.
Right.
No doubt about it.
This week you've been famous, and I guess you're starting a new association called Remove the Barriers.
Yeah.
On
yes.
Rock Street.
Yes. Free Rock Street. That's what we're going with. We're going to protest. We're going to chant Free Rock
That's a
Street.
good one.
I was thinking about that all day today.
So I mean, you live right there, right?
Yes, I live on the corner, basically on the corner of Rock Street and Pine Street.
Okay.
And I guess that the steeple at the Abbey Grill has had the protective net over it now. I think it's been 8 years, which at that time, 8 years ago, there was bricks falling.
Right.
They blocked the street off, and then the owner at that time, they had to put a net. I think it was actually the bank
Yeah,
at that
I think
point.
so. Yep.
So they put that netting over there, and I believe that it was only supposed to last 5 years, and we're beyond the 5 years. But either way, from what I understand, there was some tears in the net, and they were afraid some bricks could fall. So I was away last week. Like I said, I come home, there's Jersey barriers and the police, like the temporary yellow wooden barricade blocking Rock Street right at Pine. And then there's another barrier that was at the corner of Franklin Street and Rock Street. So if you've ever driven down Rock Street, ambulances go down
Yes.
Rock Street.
It's a main.
Fire trucks
Yes.
go down Rock Street because the station's right on Bedford. You have police, obviously, and just people doing their business. It's right, a thoroughway right to downtown, post office, banks,
Right.
everything. There's
Yeah.
businesses, there's restaurants. So they have the street blocked. And then on Easter Sunday, I'm driving by and I'm looking and I'm like, wow, there's a mother with her child in the carriage walking
Walking on
right
the
by the
sidewalk.
steeple. So I'm like, how does this make any sense?
Yep.
You can't drive by in a car. Emergency vehicles can't get through. People can't go to work. But you can walk right by. There's no problem. So it's just one of these things in Fall River where a simple issue
Turns into
is turned
chaos.
into chaos.
Yes.
Then this morning I go outside. They got a front end loader. Laura Ferrer's there in her truck. There's 2 DCM pickup trucks, 4 DCM workers. They're moving the barriers around. And I heard on the way here, I was listening to the radio and someone called in and said, oh, it's been rectified. You can go down Purchase Street and this and that. It hasn't been rectified. It should have never been put there in the first place. They're wasting time, resources, and what they're doing is creating a new problem. Deal with the issue, which is the netting on the steeple.
Right.
And deal with the owner, and whatever the situation is, get that taken care of. There's no reason to have the whole street blocked off.
Right.
So we should, at this point, we're lucky that we don't have to pay for study.
No, because actually,
they will come down with the study if they can open the streets.
that's private property. He already had an engineer look at that steeple. Those bricks, that's a facade. The actual structure is underneath those bricks. That's not, if a brick falls, it doesn't shoot out.
Right. It just
It
falls straight
falls down.
down.
That's
Yeah,
gravity. I
right,
think we
right,
learned that,
right. Yeah.
elementary
Yeah,
school?
yeah,
or
really.
The day you were born, your mother drops
real.
you on the floor. That's
You
gravity.
cry your life.
Okay. Then the other part of it is the CPA. The owner of the Abbey Grill got $200,000 in CPA money. I'm sure you can tell me all about
We've
it.
been talking
Now,
about.
I don't know what the stipulations were of what he needed to do with that money, but he's a businessman. So he got $200,000.
Right.
Who's watching what he does with that?
Yeah, exactly.
So if he's doing it, I know he's been doing a lot of nice work there, definitely.
Yeah.
He's done a lot with the building. But if he took that money and he used some of it for the other repairs and this and that, that's what you gave him the money. The board is responsible for that, in my opinion.
And the problem I had then, and the problem I have now, it's a private building. So when he bought that building, he knew the responsibility was up to him to fix it. He bought an historic building, yes, but it's private.
Yeah.
So my money went to fix it, and your money went to fix it. Her money went to fix something that's private. And on top of it, I saw him, I heard him on the radio, everybody calling, thanking him for saving the building. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for coming down and saving the building. So let's give away all the historic buildings, okay, and let them pay, and let us pay for them to have value, their property. We're never going to see that money back
No.
again. Okay, he's going to make money with that. He's going to sell it or do whatever he wants, and that $200,000 is gone. My money, your money. That's the problem I have with the private building getting money.
Right.
And here's the answer, though. Within the stipulations of the CPA, he did qualify, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it was a historic building, though, right?
And
yeah,
that's why
that's what made
I
him qualify.
voted against the CPA,
You know,
because I knew we'd be sitting here having this conversation, and we'd be saying, well, why didn't it go to this, and why didn't it go to that? I know that they gave $50,000 for a bocce court at Columbus Park.
That's insane.
What are we doing?
And
That's
the
why I did
Duval
not
Duval
vote.
school couldn't even get it to remove asbestos.
Exactly.
Yes. And on top of that, the cemetery got money to fix the gates because, you know, we on a rush to get in, and people there it's on a rush to get out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
That's
that's
top
why.
priority.
Yeah, that's top priority right there. When again, and it's not because it's my project. We have a post office about to close.
Yep.
To stop serving a busy community, a busy neighborhood, because they don't have a place to go, when we already commit to them that we will have a place for them to move. And the money got distractive. We never got a letter explaining why we didn't got approved. We never got a letter, sorry, you didn't got approved, but come back again next year. We never got a letter explaining the reason. Anything. And number two was told by the boards in our meetings, and he went all over neighborhood meetings, saying we're going to learn what the process. We're going to teach you how to get the money, how is the process, and then we follow all the process. The second part of the meetings, we changed all our paperwork so we keep being able to get money, and we still don't get. And the excuse was a match number. Okay, if you want to match the money that we already put in there, we already spent $10,000 there. We can prove it that we spend it. You want to match $10,000? I only need $8,000 to remove the asbestos. So that will make it good to us.
That would have rectified the situation.
You know what I'm saying? So every excuse on the book they've been given to us, it's not justified why we didn't get the money.
The issue I have with the Abbey, like I was probably one of the callers calling WSAR saying it looks great, and but the thing is that to me, if they were going to give them that money, it should have said, all right, we're going to give you $200,000. What about the steeple?
Well, that's my question.
What are you going to do?
When he bought it, that steeple was already like that. So, I mean, when he was in negotiations with the city, I would think that they
knew.
Right, I would think that that would be the first thing that the city would ask. So you know that steeple is like that. What do you plan on doing with it? And
but as we know in Fall River, who knows? Like I said, he's a businessman.
Right.
Oh, I'll take $200,000.
Yeah, no kidding. Who wouldn't?
And then no one's going to check up.
Right. So
I mean, he fixed the building up, but that issue's there.
It's still
now
there.
the street's
Right.
closed.
Right.
It's just chaos. It's always like that.
Yeah.
So it's, as a taxpayer, regular citizen, people just like throw their hands up after a while.
With the CPA, I said it before, and I'm going to say it every chance that I have. I'm going to say it. I voted for, because I thought it's a good program, but works in other communities. Don't work in a community like Fall River because politics.
Right.
And because this city runs in politics, okay, that's why there's a work. I voted last time, but I will be the first one to put a movement this time for that not to pass.
I'd like to see it taken off the ballot. Well, I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking. We didn't know if there was a sunset clause where it has to go back to the ballot. I don't know if there is.
Yeah, it goes
but
back to
I'd
the
like
ballot.
to see it go back, because I voted against it for everything we're talking about right now, because you knew that it was just going to be pet projects and people would get denied. If once it came in, though, I would have liked to seen them use it for the armory and do something nice for the whole city.
Right.
And I've heard that you can't use all the money for one project, but there's got to be. They always find ways around things.
Exactly. It cannot be used for just one project, but I will not be surprised, because of politics, that all the money is not going to go into the Bank Street Armory building.
No, it won't. I just thought, like,
I won't
if
be
they
surprised.
picked one particular project where they could have said, look what we did.
Right.
You know,
With
even the
CPA
doubt is
money
you
or-
should be happy now. This
Yeah.
is, you know, and they made it like a community center. They could have
Right.
partnered with a bank in the city. There's plenty of those. And make it like, you know, an event center.
Right.
Like if there's overflow, the Narrows wanted to have
Yeah.
a show come in where,
Yeah.
say the act, they couldn't accommodate that act. You move it to the Bay Coast Bank Center or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Fall River at the Armory.
Yeah.
Have a stage there, and you could have the event there, have plenty of capacity. But, you know, as all, we can't do that. We can't do that. So
No, 'cause
now
it's
we're
not
in the mess we're in.
Whoever's favor. That's why there's an idea for that, you know, armory, but it's not any of our.
It's not
ideas.
gonna
That's
be
the
anything
problem.
we wanna see,
Exactly.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think now they're talking about what, a health center for the city employees. Isn't that what they're talking about for that place?
They're talking about a wellness center.
Right. Right. But who's paying for that? Us three.
Oh, we're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
If they're gonna
Yeah.
have a wellness center for
Yeah.
city employees, I want to make sure
Yeah.
that the employees have a card that they check off that they went every
Yeah.
5 hours a week
Yeah,
and
really.
they did their
Yeah,
work.
they actually use it.
use it.
Right.
They're
right.
not
They actually
smoking too many
use it.
cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly.
Not,
Right.
You know, limit your, you know, but
Whatever. Yeah.
it just it always falls on our backs. And when I, like we were talking about earlier, Carlos, the transfer station, and you're very passionate about that, and I think it's a good idea, but once again, I'm weary. Are these people gonna be able to do this?
Right.
As we see, just on my street, they can't even get the traffic right, and they said they rectified it today.
Yeah.
So why didn't they do that in the first place?
Right.
So now, we're gonna change it again. Oh, we didn't do it. We're gonna move it.
Study. We need
Have
a
a study.
study.
100,000, right?
We need a study.
wanna do a
CPA will pay for it.
City Hall, with the windows, $20,000. They're gonna inspect the windows. I'm a contractor. I'll go right in there. Hey, this one's broken. The caulking's no good. Looks like they didn't put enough over here. I mean, do they really have to spend put that 20,000 into paying someone to repair?
And
Right.
did you watch
problems.
the city council meeting? How are we gonna fix it? Do we need to make an extra meeting, send to another committee,
Yeah.
bring back to this committee,
I
now
even
goes to
heard-
another committee?
I even heard someone say they might board up the broken windows temporarily. I'm like, it's just, I don't know.
So
I
who
don't
do you
know.
think did the call for those barriers to be put there?
Who do I think made the call? I have a lot of different theories on how that got there. A part of me wants to say that the city's leaning on him, Mr. Lombardi, to get that steeple fixed.
Right.
So that the problem goes away before he... and he's-
Forever.
Right before he opens, too, by the way. So
Yeah.
it's like the pressure's really on him.
Right.
Then another part of me thinks like, well, maybe this is an excuse to give him more CPA money so that he can fix it with that money.
True.
Then another part of me thinks, well, maybe since the mayor just brought up how he wants to do Purchase Street, which obviously I live there, so I'm not going to lie, I'd like to see them do
Right.
whatever, but
Yeah.
I understand how other people aren't happy about one particular neighborhood being picked over another.
Yeah.
But a part of me saying, is this tying into that whole
Right. Project.
It's bringing attention to the neighborhood. Like we said, it's politics.
Yeah.
So is it a legitimate problem, or is it just more politics?
Right.
But either way, I don't care about any of that. I want them to move the barriers out of the way so we can drive down the street and live how we always live. It's not too much to ask for.
I saw a post yesterday on Facebook though of Rock Street, and it's got like it's got the wooden horse, and then on the side of it is the cement barrier with the "Do Not Enter." On the horse is a one-way sign, but it's all the way to the left of the street so that cars can go by. So I'm like, what's the point of that?
That was at certain points of the day where people took them down so they could get to their house.
Oh, so people
Because
actually
they had the two barriers if
Gotcha.
you lived in one of those houses, of which one is owned by the city planner. That's blocked off, so maybe he should plan something to get that out of there so his tenants can get to their house.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just see these little issues so simple, and then it turns into everything's a big
chaos.
clown
Yeah.
show. I like
you
to
feel
call it.
Yeah, you feel like the circus song should play. Dun, 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 dun.
It's just
That's what you feel like.
because they went there, they put the barrier there, then they came back today. Now they're shuffling it around. That's 2 trips. They're gonna come again to take it away at some point. I didn't know we had all these extra
It's
really
easy.
maintenance
Yeah,
workers
really.
to do this work.
And it's easier a decision comes faster to put it there, and now it's going to take a lot longer to take it out of there.
Yeah, unless I, do like I wanted last night,
Don't
take
you
the
have a
barrier
heavy
down.
pickup truck or something?
Yeah, I'll
that
just
you can just push
pull it away or something, And it's funny too, because I talked to a lot of police officers, and some of them have been like, I was there when doing a detail the last time. It didn't make any sense then. Now we're back to square one again, and I don't know. It's just.
Jeez, I'll tell you.
We have about 10 minutes left for the show. Let me ask you this. During your campaign,
Yep.
what really was your campaign model? So a project that you really believe that you could make a difference if you made it to city council?
Well, I thought that the biggest thing that I talked about was just
Purple bags.
No, not purple bag. I talked about those a lot too, but which isn't really working. But either way, I think the overall theme was just we gotta break business as usual in Fall River. We've been just in a state of, this is what we do. This is
Right.
what we've always
Red
done.
tape.
We
Right.
need this money because we're gonna lay off all the police.
Yeah.
And just hearing that over and over and over, and no idea. We still don't really, I haven't seen any big ideas that are going to change anything, but I just wanted to break that mold, like what we're talking about with the barriers and this whole, don't do these little problems become big problems.
Right, let's fix the big problems at once.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
take care of things and then demonstrate that we can do the everyday normal activities, not raise everybody's taxes every year, because they always like to tell us, oh, well, we don't pay enough taxes. Well, I think we do, because I've had a house 12 years. The taxes have gone up 11 years out of the 12. We've got the stormwater fee, we got the trash fee, we got the bag fee, we got the water meter fee,
Yeah,
you got
there's a lot of
excise
fees.
taxes.
Yeah.
We pay all kinds of, just like every other town. And when you start doing the comparison, and I have friends, hey, I can move to Swansea, and pay the same taxes. Why am I going to stay in Fall River? And I like the city. I like being in the city. Like we were talking about, good health care, hospitals close by, the fire stations right there,
Right.
police. So I always thought that let's just try to get down to the basics. Let's take the politics out of it. Let's change it up a little bit, and then we can really start working on making the city better. And it's pretty simple. I wasn't promising people, these. I've heard everything. People were talking about having bustling tourism on the waterfront. Cliff Pond actually had that in his commercial. Rich Cabaceres ran on, he's a veteran. I understand, that's great, but what does that do? How does that correlate to being a city councilor? And when you see the politics playing in, we've watched the meetings, we see the groups. Councilors are supposed to be independent from each other,
Right.
and then work together on the issues and find the common ground. But a lot of times you see they gang up one
Yes.
side,
Yes.
the other side,
Yes, I see a lot of that.
and we've seen the pattern,
Yeah.
with 3 mayors in a year and a half, 2 years. We've seen the patterns, and
Do you see the city councils split like last city council? Because last city council was really split in half.
I think it still is.
Yeah, I do too.
I think you have 2 factions. I think you have Council President Sean Kadim, Linda Pereira, Vice President, Rich Cabaceres, and Ray Mitchell. I see that as one block. And then I see, like I said, I think Steve Camara's been pretty independent. He has his views on things, but he stays pretty independent. Cliff Pont seems pretty independent. Councilor Long, and obviously Councilor Joe Camara, definitely on his own. He stays pretty independent. So
You left Cabaceres and you left.
no, I said I
Pam.
think he's with.
Pam.
And Pam. I'm sorry, Cabaceres. I would say is with the
Linda
Pereira,
Group, yeah.
Mitchell, Kadim, and I think Pam's kind of in the middle there somewhere. So I just
Overall, how you think they're performing?
the city council.
Yeah.
I don't want to,
I'm just asking that because you were a candidate, so you had that expectation.
I'm not too thrilled about the overall performance, I'd
Okay.
have to say. I think the last couple of meetings have been a little better, but the first few meetings were just, I think, like I said, I think some people think that their role as a counselor is a little more important or involved than it actually is. You know,
Right.
The mayor sends his proposals down. If you don't like it, you don't have to vote for it. You don't have to get into the nitty gritty of how they came to this decision.
Right.
Because it's not going to change anything. It's just.
Some of them, I still giving them some honeymoon time.
Yeah,
because
no, definitely.
They just, some of them just like you came from the street.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, they had no idea. One thing is for us to be on this side, and another thing is to be sitting in there actually and have to make the decision.
Oh, no,
You know?
definitely.
So I for some of them, especially the new ones, I really give them. I want to give them some more time for them to
Get their feet wet.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What the mayor, I'm not given as much time because he served as a city council for 2 years, so he had that experience as a city council, and that kind of helped him when he got to the 6th floor. So he knew what he had to do, you know.
Yes.
I think, and I agreed with you. You know, some issues it's like they probably need to study a little bit better.
Yeah, or even just kind of like let it flow a little bit. You know what I mean? I think some people, not some people, but I just think how issues come down and then they start thinking, well, if I'm going along with the mayor, does it look like I'm going along with the
Right.
mayor?
Does it look like I'm on his
Does it look like I'm going against them?
Right,
or
right,
what's
right,
going
right,
on here?
right,
And that's particular with the newer councilors where I think with the city voted for a lot of change. So I think the mayor should be given some time because I really think after everything, obviously I was involved with the recall and I voted for Will Flanagan 2 times and I told him, I said, I was totally disappointed by the end.
Right.
And then with Mayor Sutter, even him, I didn't support him initially, but I thought, hey, maybe when he gets in, you know, he has a name around the state, maybe he can do some good things for the city. And nothing really happened. It was just a lost year. But I really think with Jazel, I think he has his heart in the right place. He's young. He's not worn out like people that have been around for 20 years.
He's got fresh ideas.
He has fresh ideas. He's young. He still has that ambition. I'm 38. I've already been kind of worn out a little bit.
Yeah, in
over
the energy.
Years. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think, you know, when he does things that I don't like, I'm going to call him out on it. But this first few months, first year, I think he's going to try to do some things and actually make some real changes. I believe that. I hope to see it, and I'm willing to give him the time.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, I agree.
Good. And we end up of.
that's it.
That's it.
Goes by
You
really
see?
fast.
Get rid of the barriers. One thing. Get them out of here.
And with that message, we want to say, see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks for coming,
Thank you,
Josh.
Bernadette.